Orleans started 2025 off with a cheer. It took less than 4 hours for the year to turn tragic.
I need EMS. I can now Bourbon now.
At 3:15 on New Year's Day, Shamsuddin Jabbar plowed a truck into the crowd on Bourbon Street. By the time police killed him in a shootout near Conti Street, 14 people were dead and dozens of others were hurt. 2 pipe bombs were found nearby and defused. In the surreal 48 hours that would follow, the city would reopen Bourbon with a ceremony, and the postponed Sugar Bowl would kick off. Fans lined up at the Dome while just across the street, the FBI was confirming that Din Jabbar had acted alone. The year would not get any less strange. Before the last of the 14 victims had even been laid to rest, Southeast Louisiana would be hit with a once-in-a-century blizzard. Some towns got more than 10 inches of snow in a single day. From an infrastructure standpoint, it was a disaster.
Everybody's sliding around, the ones that are out there. We're pulling somebody out of the ditch now.
But for many in our area, it felt like a blessing. Not long after the snow melted, tens of thousands of people, including the president, arrived in New Orleans for Super Bowl 59. Then the city jumped right into the peak of carnival season. It was a tense one with extra security, but besides a few rainouts and a runaway mule, it passed quietly. As the temperature rose, the city got a bump of pride as a man with deep roots in New Orleans became Pope Leo. Then, on the morning of May 16th,
we interrupt with breaking news.
The Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office announced 10 inmates had cut a hole in the wall of the jail and escaped. By that point, they'd been out for 9 hours.
As your sheriff, I take full accountability for this failure.
Prosecutors and families of victims went into hiding. It would be 6 months before the last of the 10 inmates would be captured. As the summer heat hit its peak, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell walked out of court after being indicted on federal charges. They accuse her of defrauding taxpayers to cover up a relationship with her bodyguard. A week later, an explosion and fire at the Smitty's supply plant rocked the town of Roseland. No one was hurt, but hundreds of people suddenly found themselves without jobs. Even now, the full environmental impact has yet to be reckoned with. Before the month was over, Southeast Louisiana would mark 20 years since Hurricane Katrina with a day full of ceremonies. In October, New Orleanians chose City Council member Helena Moreno as their next mayor. One of her first tests came that same month, when a $160 million budget deficit came to light and promised tough decisions in 2026. The year was not done. In November, federal documents revealed a massive Border Patrol operation being planned in the New Orleans area. Businesses closed, events were canceled, and within a month, agents had detained hundreds of immigrants. In that time, a years-long battle for survivors of clergy abuse also reached its end. A judge approved a $300 million settlement to be paid by the Archdiocese of New Orleans and its insurer. Some survivors welcomed it as long-awaited justice.
I'm moving from being a victim to being a victor.
As the sun set on December 31st, National Guard troops stood watch on Bourbon Street, ready for another New Year's Eve celebration. A memorial made of hundreds of prayer flags hung overhead. Rachel Handley, WWL Louisiana.